Hello everyone, welcome to another showcase video. You may know me for the previous plot roller coasters that I have built on Plane Crazy. I have a ton of these out on my channel, but today I am going to show you something that will revolutionize the concept of coaster building in this game. Some of you may have already seen it in the Discord server. I highly encourage you to check it out since we have a lot of awesome creations in there too. But today I am going to showcase you this thing. Well, at least this is what I currently have. As you can see there, the layout just suddenly ends, and the plans I have with this layout, I'm only 1/3 of the way there. But since progress is going a little bit slower than I wanted to, primarily due to a lack of motivation, I'm just going to showcase you how exactly all of this works. As there is at least some material to work with. Just a disclaimer: this coaster building method is really heavy on some devices because to create a track spline this precise, you will need hundreds, if not thousands, of angle locks and compress blocks. Therefore, I will also not be giving a tutorial on how to build this, because I would rather not have a lot of people use this building method. So if you know how to recreate, this, then go ahead. But if you do not know how, do not search for a tutorial either. It is too complex and it's gonna be too intensive for your device. So let's just go over some of the main features of this coaster. You may have noticed these yellow borders already. While these also act as a decorative element. On this element, they act to hold the train cars in place. That is because this right here is a spinning coaster, as you can see by the way this design works. Underneath here, there are a lot of different blocks specially arranged for a mechanism to automatically reset the spinning. And this entire coaster was made with automation in mind. Everything besides the elevator and the car restraints are completely automatic. So I will quickly load a train onto the track, quickly check that the track is anchored, and then we can start loading the trains on. It's a slow process, but in real life it isn't really that fast either. And usually you would start a coaster like this up with a test run, but of course we're in a fictional environment, so we don't necessarily need to hold a test run. Also, because this design is a little bit prone to stalling in some points of the layout due to being largely gravity operated. But there are actually rockets underneath the trains to propel them forward. To propel them forward when necessary. Some flat parts of the layout can severely slow it down if those rockets were not there. And the current system seems to work fine despite the troubles that we do have. So as you can see, we have completely functional restraints. So this is like the station setup itself is a recreation of Copra's curse at Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay in America, or the United States to be more specific. Another interesting feature of that ride is that it has it's a special ADA platform. That's the disability system in America specifically. Although in other parts of the world it is called differently. For instance, in Europe we have multiple different names. In the Netherlands, for instance, we call it an MIVA, if I'm correct. And parks in the UK, to my knowledge, use the term right access pass for disabled people to use to use their attractions with a special system, but every park does that in a different way, really. And this was just a neat way to add more detail around it. It seemed just a bit like a barren ride. So we will load this train on the track. I'm only gonna do one train, but I can actually have them go around in sequence behind each other. And it's because of the block section system. Since there are, in its current form, we already have multiple block sections ready to go. We have the preparation block in front of the transfer track. The transfer track itself is a block. The station itself can hold multiple trains and isn't a complete block section. There is the zone before the elevator, then each elevator platform is a block section, but only one section of the elevator will usually be occupied at a time, and then there is the mid-course breaks, and then there's the mid-course break zone. And for those of you who don't know, a block section is a section of track on a roller coaster, or sometimes even in train infrastructure that may only occupy one vehicle at a time as part of the automatic safety systems that comes with these coasters to make them able to run multiple trains reliably with race capacity. This coaster, for instance, I am intending to build 6 trains for. I can fit 6 trains in this maintenance bay, so I will attempt to run 6 too. But I don't 100% know if I will ever get to that. If I will ever get to that point. A variety of Plane received updates in the last while have ruined some of my past build by wiping the keybinds. By wiping the keybinds or breaking some mechanics, and I don't know if there will be any future game-breaking updates, literally, that will make me quit progress on this coaster too. It seems like it had a little rough entry, so I'm kind of worried that we might stall, but we will have to wait and see. Right. An interesting feature about this elevator is that to increase capacity, it is a double elevator. That's why there is this secondary yellow rail on the side, which pushes the track platform to the side to let the elevators pass in the middle, but have them connect again at the bottom and the top. This is a feature that is exploited on a variety of coasters, obviously Cobra's Curse at Pushkar Tampa Bay, but also Matterhorn Blitz at Europa Park, or Speed the Ride at Energylandia. So we connect, we stop the elevator. Underneath here we have a smart braking pad system to make sure the train doesn't go anywhere during the ascent. And then we move forwards. Let's see how well this will go. The outer bank, helix, airtime hill, another helix with a little overbank, this weird airtime hill, another airtime hill, another overbank, and then finally we go into the brakes, where I will stop the train. As you can see here, there is an additional catwalk to allow easy evacuation of the trains. If you do it properly, you can even push them around. You can even push them around to center them up properly, so you're able to evacuate the train. Now quickly deactivate the rockets because they make a lot of noise. And then we will have a look at the building itself. As you can see here, the wheels here are still rotating. These have stopped because I disabled them. But these block section wheels will normally continue running almost any time, because that is the easiest way to automate the system. In the station they go a little bit slower because obviously you have the boarding procedure for the trains. And then there is another interesting feature right here. This wheel is makes contact with this fabric ring here underneath the train, which allows the reset of the rotation by having this notch at the front here collide with this metal bar that makes sure the train always points forward when moving inside the station. This bracket here, which is also in the station, helps to keep the train centered and not smash into the sides, as well as to keep the measurements proper. Because as you can see a little bit, there is some play between the wheels, which is intentional to make it possible for the track to have tighter transitions. For instance, this curve here is relatively tight, but the play in wheel sets make it much easier for the train to go through there, and also cause a lot less friction between the wheels and the track, which is just overall better for operating the ride, to make everything run smoothly. So then let's look at the station. The station I will probably keep this way, except the signs currently stay placeholder. I still haven't decided for a name yet. This little building here is supposed to be a gift shop. I will probably add some lights too. So here we have the entrance signs with these plate blocks I smartly clipped into the entrance portal here. We have this little wooden stairwell that leads up to the station, where you can decide to board on the ADA platform or the main queue. These arrows point you in the right direction to walk directly on the conveyor belt. Then normally you would enter the train here and you would exit on the other side. That is why the exit conveyor belt is a little more extended to allow guests more time to exit. And they would cross over the stairwell that goes over the track, past the operator's cabin, and until this exit stairwell marked off with a sign too, that leads you inside the gift shop. Then we go up once more to have a look at the maintenance bay, which is currently rather empty. And there are these weird plates on the side, which I use to connect the trains, and I will show why that is important in a moment. Also, for those of you who haven't noticed yet, these weird spacings here are because I used a lot of compress blocks to widen the track platform clearances. I also did that in the station here, though it is currently not visible, but this large conveyor track section was actually completely separate and then clipped onto the track. I will show that in a moment. And then one other major difference between some sections of track. Here the track is completely smooth, and here there is clearly a motor exposed. That is because for some sections of track, in order to have the capability to keep them anchored, to keep the wheels anchored to the track so they don't fly away, I added a disconnector block to keep them attached to the track, and then I clipped a wedge block on the motor in order to smoothen out the track. For the transfer track, I did not have the space to do that, so instead I am using the wheel controls to center the wheels again. This is because of a weird glitch that causes any separate object for motors to fly around randomly, and it's really annoying. And the same problem I have with these wheels, but for these wheels I use another really smart method by powering these motors with no speed and no torque, and having them which unlocks them. I will just show you the keybinds. That's probably an easier way to explain it. mind you, this build is really laggy. Alright, so as you can see, it currently fits all nice and tightly in this square. I have a bit of space here for track, I have a bit of space above here for track, but it's all designed to be within the base plot space, even though there is a height expansion above here, which I can't use because I haven't bought it yet. So here are the trains. They are like really separate because I am compressing a lot of parts. And if I take a look at the wheels, you can see that these wheels are normally locked, but they are also toggle. That means that to prevent the wheels from flying around, I can lock the motors, and then when I press right Alt, I can unlock them and keep them in a powered but unlocked state, which is a really neat way to prevent the wheels from flying about when you're starting up your build. Here you can also see the reason why I haven't got enough space to run like wedges on these. As you can see, the clearances are just way too small. They are like only one block on each side. On the side here there's a block interfering, so I can't have them clipped in from the side either. Here there's literally a catwalk in a way, which I once again use compress plugs to clip into place. And then, as you can see, for the conveyor belt here, it is completely separate from the station, and I simply used compress plugs to clip it on a track. So that is really all I have to showcase. About this build. If you have any questions, gladly leave a comment. I will do my best to see when I can answer it. And if you have, and I do also encourage you to join our Discord server. We have a lot of talented people there, some even more talented than me. Because the chance is really great that I will not finish this, but there are a lot of way more motivated people in the Discord server who don't have a YouTube channel like I do. So if you want to, do check that out. It's the Zvergence Industries Discord server. I will put a link in the description. With that, I will thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video, whenever that may be.